analytic and synthetic syllabus planning. So, things. There are many different ways in which syllabus proposals of one sort or another might be analyzed. One dimension of analysis which has been the subject of a great deal of discussion and comment is the synthetic or analytic dimension. It was Wilkins who first drew attention to the distinction between synthetic and analytic syllabus that we have learned. He described the synthetic approach in the following item, that is Wilkins item. A synthetic language teaching strategy is one in which the language parts, the different parts of a language are taught separately and step by step, so that acquisition is a process of gradual accumulation of parts until the whole structure of the language has been built, that is done. And the concept of syllabus and the structured plan outlining the content of a course is fundamental to education. However, the design and the implementation of syllabuses can vary significantly, leading to different approaches to language learning. Okay, that means we can teach language in different way of understanding the different ways. Syllabus may be the different categories, okay, that we have learned, that is the process-oriented and product-oriented. And apart from this, we have two other categories of syllabuses, that is synthetic and analytic approach, analytic syllabuses. Two prominent types of syllabuses, that is synthetic and analytic, represent constructing philosophies on how language is being acquired. Synthetic syllabuses, as their name suggests, focus on the building blocks of the target language, that is synthetic syllabus. They break down language into discrete units, such as words, grammar rule, sentence patterns, and present them to learner in a step-by-step manner. So you can put it the definition of synthetic syllabus in such a way, that is, they break down language into separate units, that is words, grammar rules, and sentence pattern, and present them to learners in a step-by-step manner. This approach assumes that language learning is a process of accumulation knowledge of these individual components. Okay, so synthetic syllabuses wants that the learner should be efficient in the specific subjects or specific parts of the grammatical unit. And for this reason, the different parts of the unit should be presented in a synthetic syllabus. And the learners, which learners then synthesize into meaningful utterance. What does it mean? That means if the learners know the different important and specific parts or the grammatical parts of a language, it is assumed that the learners will be able to understand the language and will be able to produce the language in real-time communication. And for this reason, synthetic syllabuses is designed and synthetic syllabus is applied in a specific or the some specific reader or learners. Okay. Synthetic syllabuses often rely on explicit instruction and practice, with a focus on mastering specific grammatical structure and vocabulary. That is the synthetic. Examples of synthetic syllabuses can be found in popular language textbooks like Headway, Outcomes, and English Files. Okay. Headway will have some textbook. Okay. Headway, pre-intermediate, intermediate. There are several stages of this Headway textbook. It is available in market. So if you want to purchase that, there you see that the several stages of Headway textbook. First time words, then pronunciation, then clause, then phrases, then sentences. Okay, so this Headway textbook can be an example of synthetic syllabuses. And in contrast, we have another category of syllabuses that we have learned today, that is analytic syllabuses. Take a more holistic approach to language learning. Holistic, that means the total approach of language learning. They prioritize the communicative purpose of the language is used. Okay? And focusing on the learner's need and the types of linguistic performance required to achieve the goals. Okay? In case of synthetic syllabus, the learner will memorize the words, vocabulary, and other, and they will learning the language. But analytic syllabus, they prioritize the communicative purpose for the language is used, focusing on the learner's needs and the types of linguistic performance required to achieve this goal. Okay, that we have learned. That is the task-based syllabuses. Okay, task-based syllabuses. Then what is the task? The learner are assigned to complete a task. সেই কাজটা complete করতে হবে. What is the task? That means applying to a university. And whenever you will be applying to a university, you have to talk about the chairman. You have to talk about the fees. You have to talk to the administrative officer about the tuition fees, and how may you pay the tuition fees online or by mobile phone, or in which way the procedures. Okay, so the way you will be getting the information of the uh, university education, that process will make you efficient in communication. And that is the core idea of analytic syllabuses. Okay, that is the achieve the goal. That means you are asked to purchase something from somewhere else, then you have to go there. আপনাকে বলা হলো আপনি হলো আমেরিকান এম্বাসি থেকে তাদের ফুল ব্রাইট স্কলারশিপের তথ্যগুলো সংগ্রহ করবেন। যখন তথ্য সংগ্রহ করতে যাবেন, তখন কি হবে? You have to make a phone call to the US embassy, or rather you have to write an email to US embassy, এবং সেই এম্বাসি থেকে আপনাকে কমিউনিকেশন দেয়। এই জন্য to achieve the goal. Analytic syllabus is designed to achieve this goal, and by achieving this goal, analytic syllabuses think that the learner will be efficient in communicative language or communicative portion of a language, that is the applied English. Instead of breaking down the language into isolated units, analytic syllabuses expose learner to authentic language samples. Okay. In case of analytic syllabus, you will not see noun, pronoun, verb, adjective. Rather, they will be presenting you the real sentences, and they will try to the applied notion, the sentences that can be applied in your practical needs, that will be in analytic syllabuses, encouraging them to analysis, induce rules of grammar and usage through meaningful interaction. Okay? That means in case of analytic syllabuses, meaningful interaction is important. That if you can make an interaction effective and perfect, it means that you can apply your language knowledge. And for this reason, the analytic syllabuses are designed so that the learner can understand the real-time communication of the task. This approach emphasizes the importance of implicit learning, while learners acquire language through exposure and use. Okay? In case of analytic syllabus, they will try to use the target language in real-time communications and to achieve the task and to achieve the goal. And by this analytic syllabuses focus on the real-time communications to a person and the learners. Much like children learn their native language, so the natural ways. That is the difference between analytic syllabuses and synthetic syllabuses. The distinction between synthetic and analytic syllabuses reflects a broader debate in language teaching about the relative importance of the explicit versus implicit learning. Explicit versus explicit means সরাসরি ওয়ার্ডের অর্থ জেনে, vocabulary জেনে, সেন্টেন্স জেনে, সেটাকে বলা হচ্ছে explicit. And implicit means the analytic syllabus. Analytic syllabus will make someone um, able to make communication in the target language if anybody wants to follow analytic syllabus. Synthetic syllabuses emphasize explicit instruction and practice, while analytic syllabuses prioritizes communicative task and the authentic language exposures. The choice of the syllabus type ultimately depends on the specific learning objectives and the learner needs. While synthetic syllabuses offer a structured or systematic approach to language acquisition, they can sometimes feel artificial or disconnected from real-world communications. In case of grammar translation methods, আমরা যেটা বলি যে ট্রান্সলেশনের মাধ্যমে ইংরেজি শেখানো, সেখানে you are learning the what meaning, you are learning the vocabulary of thousands, more 10,000, 20,000 words, but that words are unused, or that words cannot be used in the practical life. That will be happening in synthetic syllabuses. So synthetic syllabuses will teach you the vocabulary, teach you the sentence, and that sentences not always be used in the practical life. সেগুলো শিখে আপনার practical life আপনি হয়তো ব্যবহার করতে পারছেন না. That is the thing of synthetic syllabus. But in case of analytic syllabuses, that is the practical, provide a more natural and engaging learning experience. And they may require more independent learning and a higher level of learner autonomy. Learner autonomy, that means learner will get the instruction and the learner will try to learn and use the language independently. That is called the learner autonomy. Learner autonomy means learner স্বাধীনতা. Learner নিজে সেই অ্যানালিটিক সিলেবাস ফলো করে নিজেই কোনো টাস্ক বা কোনো কাজ করতে পারবেন। তার মানে that learner without the help of the instructor or teachers, learner will try to learn the language following analytic syllabuses. That is the difference between analytic and synthetic syllabuses. Ultimately, the most effective syllabus is one that aligns to the learner's needs and the learning styles. Okay, actually, what is the needs? And so you may raise the question, what is the effective syllabus? Analytic or synthetic? Synthetic, and so it depends on the learner needs. Suppose 100 workers are going towards Dubai for their activities, or what they are in a factory. Okay? So if it is that, যদি 1000 মানুষ দুবাই যাচ্ছে, তারা সেখানে কাজ করবে, তাদের নিডস কি? তাদের নিডস হচ্ছে এখানে ডেইলি কমিউনিকেশন করা। তারা হয়তো সেখানে ম্যানেজারের সাথে কথা বলবে, তারা হয়তো সেখানে কোনো কিছু পারচেস করতে গিয়ে কোনো কথা বলবে, হ্যাঁ, তারা হয়তো বাসে বা কোনো পাবলিক ভেহিক্যালে ওখানে যাওয়ার জন্য কথা বলবে। সো এই নিড গুলো ডিজাইন ভিত্তি করে এদের জন্য অ্যানালিটিক সিলেবাস মাইট বি অ্যাপ্রোপ্রিয়েট। কিন্তু আবার যদি বলি যে হচ্ছে কেউ হচ্ছে হায়ার এডুকেশনের জন্য যাচ্ছে, হ্যাঁ, কেউ হয়তো গবেষণার জন্য যাচ্ছে, ওকে, তখন তার আরো মোর একদম ডিটেলস সম্পর্কে জানা এবং তার হচ্ছে টিচারের লেকচার সম্পর্কে জানতে হবে, লেকচার শুনে সেটা বোঝার চেষ্টা করতে হবে, অনেক একাডেমিক রিসার্চ বুক পড়তে হবে। তাদের ক্ষেত্রে হয়তো synthetic syllabuses might be effective. Okay, so syllabus will be effective, or rather it may be synthetic or analytic syllabus. It depends on the needs. Observing and understanding the needs and the goals of the learners, syllabus can be designed and syllabus can be effective. And the needs and goals we will be reading in the next class, reading needs and goals of the syllabus. So whether a synthetic or analytic approach is more appropriate depends on the factors such as the learner's prior knowledge, okay, and their learning goals and the specific context of the learning environment. Okay, so if you ask the questions of which one is the appropriate for us or the others, okay, so apart from this, between this synthetic and analytic approach syllabus, okay, so both are good, both are better, both are best depending on the necessity of the learners or the students or the persons you are teaching. Okay, so synthetic analytic approach of the syllabuses will be depending on the necessity of the
Hello, sir.
learners. Yes, sir.
Sir, I think we have got a lot of information, We have to restudy this again, and many of us are fasting. So maybe we could wrap this up quickly.
Okay, okay, timer শেষ, 3টায় শেষ করার কথা, 3টা 8 মিনিট হয়ে গেছে. Okay, I will be finishing. Okay, so the key choice of the syllabus that facilitates meaningful languages acquisition and empowers learners to communicate effectively in the target language. Okay, so that is about synthetic and analytic syllabus. So we can conclude in such a way: synthetic syllabuses break down the language into smaller components, and analytic syllabuses prioritize communicative purposes. So that is the basic difference between these two categories of sentences: synthetic and analytic syllabuses. Okay, so thank you very much for attending the classes. Okay, so we can